Daf Yomi, Tractate, Bava Metzia, page 118a, top of the page with the word Higiucha Ein, and the words Ein Shomim Lo, etc. They are yours, as I hereby declare them ownerless, and you can take them for yourself. The court does not listen to him, since he cannot force the other to acquire the stones. If after the owner of the garden voluntarily accepted ownership of the stones upon himself, the owner of the wall said to him, "Here you are, take your expenditures for the removal of the stones, and I will take the stones that are mine." The court does not listen to him, as they had already been acquired by the owner of the garden. The Mishnah continues, in the case of one who hires a laborer to do work with him, with hay or with straw, and after he finished the task, the laborer said to the employer, "Give me my wages," and the employer said to him, "Take what you have worked with as your wages." In other words, take some of the hay or straw as payment. The court does not listen to him. Although debts can be paid with any item of value, even hay or straw, the wages of a laborer must be paid in accordance with the initial agreement between the laborer and the employer. But if after the laborer accepted upon himself to keep the hay or straw as payment, the employer changed his mind and said to him, "Here you are, take your wages and I will take what is mine," the court does not listen to him, since the laborer had already acquired the hay. Gemara, the Talmud says, Nifchasa Amar Rav Amar Beruba, Shmuel Amar Be'arba. With regard to the case of the roof of the olive press that was broken, the Gemara cites a dispute with regard to the amount that collapsed. Rav says most of it must have collapsed, and Shmuel says even a hole of 4 cubits is sufficient for the ruling of the Mishnah to apply. Rav says most of it must have collapsed, but if it is only a hole of 4 cubits, there is no basis for a claim, since a person can sow partially on a level below and partially on a level above. And Shmuel says it is enough if it is a hole of 4 cubits, as a person cannot sow partially on a level below and partially on a level above. The Gemara comments, and it is necessary for the dispute between Rav and Shmuel to be stated both here and with regard to the case of an upper story of a house that collapsed. 116b. As had the Gemara taught us only that they disagree with regard to a residence, one would have said it is only in this case that Shmuel is saying his ruling, because people do not tend to live a little here and a little there, but with regard to sowing, people do tend to sow a little here and a little there. Therefore, one might say that he concedes to Rav in the case of the olive press. And if this dispute was stated only with regard to this case of the olive press, one would have said that it is only with regard to this case that Rav is saying his opinion, but with regard to the case involving the house, one might say that he concedes to Shmuel. Therefore, it is necessary to state that their dispute applies to both cases. Okay. The Mishnah teaches if the court saw that the wall was shaky or that the tree was tilting, and they gave him time to go down the tree or to dismantle the wall, and then they fell down. If this occurred during the allotted time, he is exempt. But if they collapsed after the time given to him had elapsed, he is liable to he's liable to pay. The Gemara asks, and how much time will the court usually allot this purpose? Yochanan says, the standard period of 30 days. The standard period of 30 days. The standard period of 30 days. Wow, I might do 2 parts of this. This is a big daf. The standard period of 30 days. Okay. The Mishnah teaches, in the case of one whose wall was located next to his friend's garden, and the owner of the wall told the owner of the garden to keep the stones, he cannot retract. The Gemara comments, but from the fact that the last clause of the Mishnah teaches that if the owner of the fallen wall says, "Here you are, take your expenditures," the court does not listen to him. If it can be understood by inference that we are dealing with a case where the owner of the garden cleared away the stones. It can therefore be deduced that the ransom of the owner of the fallen wall cannot retract his offer. It is that the owner of the garden cleared them away. But if he did not clear them away, the stones are not considered his, and they remain in the possession of the owner of the wall. And that will be it, folks, for side 1. Okay, yeah, we're still already here. Let's turn that off.